Okay, so where we left off, she is looking at the boy and then her baby, and then she has this realization. And it says, the blood turned like ice in her veins, and a clammy moisture gathered upon her face. She tried to speak to the little quadroon boy, but no sound would come at first. When he heard his name uttered, he looked up, and his mistress was pointing to the door. He laid aside the great soft fan and obediently stole away over the polished floor on his bare tiptoes. She stayed motionless, with gaze riveted upon her child, and her face the picture of fright. Presently, her husband entered the room, and without noticing her, went to a table and began to search among some papers which covered it. Armand, she called to him in a voice which must have stabbed him, if he was human. But he did not notice. Armand, she said again. Then she rose and tottered towards him. Armand, she panted once more, clutching his arm. Look at our child. What does it mean? Tell me. He coldly but gently loosened her fingers from about his arm and thrust the hand away from him. Tell me what it means, she cried despairingly. It means, he answered lightly, that the child is not white. It means that you are not white. So at this point, they both had this realization that the child is biracial, and he, as a slave owner, is no longer happy with her. And he is no longer happy about the baby now that he realizes that the baby isn't white. Even though at the beginning, remember, he was like, I don't care about her background. I don't care about her origin. I'm in love with her. I'm marrying her. And just as quickly as that love started, he has just completely turned it off. A quick conception of all that this accusation meant for her nerved her with unwanted courage to deny it. It is a lie. It is not true. I am white. Look at my hair. It is brown. And my eyes are gray, Armand. You know they are gray. And my skin is fair. Seizing his wrist. Look at my hand. Whiter than yours, Armand. She laughed hysterically. As white as LeBlanche's, he returned cruelly and went away, leaving her alone with their child. And so he's saying that her hand is not really as white. He's comparing it to one of the black servants that works in their home. When she could hold a pen in her hand, she sent a despairing letter to Madame Valmont, who is her adopted mother, remember? My mother, they tell me I am not white. Armand has told me I am not white. For God's sake, tell them it is not true. You must know it is not true. I shall die. I must die. I cannot be so unhappy and live. The answer that came was brief. My own Desiree, come home to Valmont, back to your mother who loves you. Come with your child. When the letter reached Desiree, she went with it to her husband's study and laid it open upon the desk before which he sat. She was like a stone image, silent, white, motionless after she placed it there. In silence, he ran his cold eyes over the written words. He said nothing. Shall I go, Armand? She asked in tones sharp and agonized with suspense. Yes, go. Do you want me to go? Yes, I want you to go. He thought Almighty God had dealt cruelty and unjustly with him, and felt somehow that he was paying him back in kind when he stabbed thus into his wife's soul. Moreover, he no longer loved her, because of the unconscious injury she had brought upon his home and his name. She turned away like one stunned by a blow and walked slowly towards the door, hoping he would call her back. Goodbye, Armand, she moaned. He did not answer. That was his last blow at fate. Desiree went in search of her child. Zandrine was pacing the somber gallery with it. She took the little one from the nurse's arms with no word of explanation, and descending the steps, walked away under the live oak branches. It was an October afternoon. The sun was just sinking. Out in the still fields, the Negroes were picking cotton. I'm going to pause here and pick up on the next video.